Hello, welcome to another Oya Cinema Club today. We are going over Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. We have JP, Steve, Naomi, Jason, and Dino today.
Hey.
So let's just hop right into it. What were your initial thoughts, guys?
All right, I'll go first. I guess I've seen the cartoon Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. I've seen, I guess.
But what? Wait! Why did you pick this movie?
It's a cult classic that's been on my list for a long time. I'm such a huge horror fan. And it's like something that like people always like bring up when I bring up like the other list of films that I really liked, and I've never seen it before, so that's why I picked it.
All right, Dino, go ahead.
Yeah, so I guess I hadn't seen this movie. Every now and then there was one or two scenes where I was like, this seems really familiar. So maybe I had seen a couple scenes here and there, but I had definitely seen the one Killer Tomatoes Attack France or whatever. I just remember the one in France, and then the cartoon. So this was the first time me watching, I guess, the original Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, and boy, was it a trip! It was crazy. I got a lot of vibes, like Naked Gun vibes, Leslie Nielsen, Airplane, a lot of Mel Brooks vibes, but like as well, the poor man of those versions, and like the cousin of the Naked Gun, and the step brother of Mel Brooks trying to do those kind of films. But hey, it's a cult classic, and I was surprised at the times that I laughed. I'll say that much. There were moments where I did lose it, and they weren't necessarily the moments I think they were expecting for people to cackle. But yeah, so it's clearly crazy how this like really crappy film has blown up and created all these different movies and cartoons, and it's silly, but hey, they were making a point of how silly some of these other actual serious horror films, I guess, are. So yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was, but it's bizarre.
Anyone else?
Initial thoughts. For me, it was my first time seeing it. However, when I saw the movie poster, I really thought I was going to see some cross animation like Osmosis Jones or like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but it was not that. It was pretty funny. I was slap of the knee funny. I felt like I was watching Late Night Boomerang or something like that in live action. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
All right, no, it's fine. It was because like with some of you, first time watching this film, and the poster is very iconic with the killer tomato on the poster. So I was thinking the same thing. Like, this is gonna be kind of like, I was thinking in my head, this is gonna have some killer space clowns or leprechaun vibes. That's what I was thinking the movie was gonna be. And then I watched the movie. And
Boston, Seattle, Chicago,
and like it's crazy because normally I like these types of films, and this is a really bad movie. Like, it's a joke a minute. Even pointless shots are in this film solely for a purpose of a joke that's never addressed. And I felt almost tonally this movie gave me tonal whiplash only like with the comedy itself, because there's very childish, immature, stupid jokes. I was like, yeah, I could see why this was made into a cartoon. But then you have outrageously offensive jokes as well, and a few of which I feel terrible that I fucking like nearly destroy the house with my loud laughter over. We're gonna probably talk about it later on in the discussion, but I didn't like what I saw was definitely not what I expected at all, and it was definitely an experience. And I can't wait to dissect that with you guys.
First impression. I gotta say that tonal whiplash is wildly accurate. So thank you for that keyword, JP. Wow. So I saw this movie probably when I was a child, in bits and pieces. But I do feel like we've rented it multiple times because as a kid, I was like, "Oh, I want to see this movie," because of the video box cover. I probably thought it was a cartoon. Who knows? So I kind of just like have it in these weird images and glimpses. But I was totally unaware of tone as a kid. Watching it now as a full-grown adult, this movie is adult. Adult is that
What?
I said adult,
Adult?
like but whatever. Never mind.
Explain it later.
Yeah. Uh.
Sorry. As an adult, you watched it as an adult.
When I watch the movie now, it's all over the place. Like I don't know if this is a horror movie, a comedy. It's clearly a comedy, but it also is sort of a parody film at the same time, and it's very much trying to do a Naked Gun thing, where it's a bunch of jokes and weirdness, but it doesn't really succeed in that way. So it honestly, it's kind of hard to tell what the filmmakers might have actually been going for. It's clear, like at a certain point, they're like, "Oh, no, this is really funny stuff," and maybe it was. I'm just really confused how a movie like this could have staying power and get like name recognition and become a franchise and make a bunch of money.
Because
It
only
just
5 movies came out that year.
I mean, there's so much to this thing, and it came out like in the golden era of Hollywood films too. Like the '70s was no joke for cinema. In some kind of way, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes found its way into our cultural reference. It's strange. Um, it's I'm really thankful Michaela picked this movie though for her '70s pick. This was a very brave choice, and I salute you because it's just this movie almost has to be experienced to be believed, but it is a thing all to itself because where it's like okay, it's gonna be weirdness. It's like okay, this is sort of like Adult Swim, but like it's just. That's all I got for first impressions, and I think it's pretty accurate.
Steve?
My first impressions was the moment that I saw well, first of all, when you mentioned
Staticky, bro.
oh, I got staticky?
Mm-hmm.
Hold
Roger.
up. I'll fix it right now. How about now? Am I better? Am I good?
Yeah, a lot better.
Okay. So when I first got the title of this movie, I thought it was gonna be like another horror film from Michaela's, collection. And I was like, I'm not looking forward to this. And then when I saw the beginning of the movie that they were talking about birds of Alfred Hitchcock, I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun. Because it was like they just not gonna give a fuck. And then when I actually saw the movie, I was like, oh, this is totally JP. Like JP must love this movie. I even thought in this particular scene, JP would have played even better this character in particular.
Tomato.
Yeah, And then watching the movie, watching it was wacky, it was fun. It was good for me watching it today because because of the traveling and everything, I've been watching things on a rush. So it was definitely a fun watch.
Speaking of which, where in the world is Steve Des right now?
Where in the world is Steve? San Diego. I'm in Colombia. Last week I was in Mexico. This week I'm in Colombia.
All right.
Moving
So,
right
so,
along.
so you're saying it fit for being in Colombia or just for being traveling?
Just for traveling, because it's hard when you're on the move to kind of sit down and watch, get really into a story in a movie. And this felt more like Airplane to me, more like Naked Gun, like you were saying, Austin Powers. And it's just like bits. It's not really. I mean, it's a ridiculous plot. Even the way they execute it, I thought there was gonna be. Again, it's a '70s film, so I thought there was gonna be. For some reason, I thought it was gonna be like some CGI or something, but they literally just use regular ass tomatoes. So yeah, those are my first impressions.
Yeah, I said I had the first GIF. Just stop because I had some stop animation or stop motion, if you will, of just like tomatoes moving around, and I'm like, yeah, that could count as a GIF, I think.
Yeah, no. Like my first impression, I honestly thought that this was going to be more of a horror movie. I honestly did, just because I feel like so many times I've talked to people about these sort of things. It'd come up and they'd be like, "Oh man, Attack of the Killer Tomato." So I was expecting a little bit more. I knew it was going to be a spoof on some form, but it kind of just feels like a long form improv sketch that just no one told these guys it's okay, you've done enough.
We gotta get those tomatoes before they get us. We're gonna beat them fast with smash in the street. We're gonna kick and mush and crush them with our feet.
Very Second City. Very Second City.
Also, I didn't realize that there was gonna be so many musical numbers. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And you watched it.
And only we know why. The rapper's more important than the prize. Important decisions are made each day. Much too important for the plain folk.
Yeah. You did watch it while under certain influences.
So
I was envious because I wanted the experience that she was having half the time.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I thought those musical numbers were amazing. They were a welcomed unnecessary addition to the film.
I wanted more. Because somewhere where I looked it up or whatever, it had more music. It had musical on it or whatever, and I was like, all right, I need at least 5 songs, and I think it had 3 maybe. So
Yeah.
I'm waiting for 2 more songs. Because I can see Hannibal the musical. Is that what it was called? The Trey Parker.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was on the same line of that almost, of just campiness and all that. But yeah, I'm all for bad music.
Yeah.
The places where they had the music too, it was weird because like I said before, there was the first musical number seemed completely out of nowhere, and the other 2 you kind of just accept the madness of the film, and it gives you a mental break because it's one of the few moments in the film where it's okay, it's not a joke a minute, it's now just a song. You get to sit and enjoy this song and not every effing knock knock punchline per beat in the script. But oh my gosh, yeah, the ending bit, the duet, that was pretty beautiful actually. I really enjoyed the duet.
Yeah, actually, I like the duet too. If I'm being completely honest with you guys.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess that like leads me to like
What was the part of this movie that we thought was the funniest? There was a part that we like. This is the best part of the movie. Was it in the hotel?
It might have been in the. I'll come back to me. Since you had the field, can I just say I was so happy that the
Oh
San
my
Diego
God.
chicken was actually in the movie. Um, a freaking a staple of San Diego, and I guess. But I didn't really know much about the San Diego chicken until I went to. They were doing anyway. The whole time, search San Diego Padres chicken. It is bizarre, and I loved it. I kept thinking I was like I think they're in San Diego, and it was so quirky when they would show clips of San Francisco and say New York, but then I was like it's got to be San Diego. And then when it was the Star of India or Flower of India, the ship that he was running by when they were shooting at him, the discount John Belushi guy that was running by and getting shot at.
Wait, real quick. Did everybody else have the same thought as me and Dino? Discount John Belushi?
You know, it's crazy. Like,
now that you say that,
yeah, it during the film, like, because I know I was like, is he the third Belushi brother? Because there's two of them. But
Mason Dixon.
I did feel that I was like, okay, this is more of a family-friendly kind of restraint, Belushi.
So I was so happy. I was just like, I was really happy that I was down. It was filmed, a lot of it in San Diego, and I kept trying to figure out exactly where. So I enjoyed that. And then when it was actually like that final or one of the final scenes that was everyone in costume, like everyone in costume running and fighting the tomatoes. I just loved it. It was like again, 60s, 70s ending where it's just chaos. Let's have chaos.
oh my gosh, right?
I feel like they all went to Halloween Spirit somewhere, and they just arrived on set with whatever they got.
But we gotta respect them because this is Halloween Spirit, guys. So the fact that people were just like, yeah, I got a Michael Myers mask in my house, or yeah, I have this outfit. Like, let me get that on. I really respect that everyone was like, oh, I got a costume. I got an outfit.
Oh yeah,
Let's do it.
Everyone was so game.
Right.
Everyone. Well, I was gonna ask like, what was everyone's like favorite part of the movie? And like, I think I just like enjoyed how you could tell everyone had way too much fun on set. Like everyone had too much fun on set.
Well, I'll go first.
Mhm.
I feel like this movie, even though it was minor, I am so happy that we had representation.
Yeah.
And did not die. Was not the first to die, or
Oh, he died.
well, he pops back up in the sequel. So I mean,
Oh, that's,
yeah, we didn't see him die, which in horror movies means
Yeah.
that they probably didn't die.
is he
Unless,
playing the same
Yeah,
character?
it's an implied
Wow.
death.
Yeah. That's true.
yeah.
That was a stupid scene.
That's the catch up.
If you don't see him die, he didn't die.
I'm trying to think of what was the favorite.
And then
Yeah,
he was
we-
he was Hitler before, right? That was
Yeah, he was
When he was Hitler,
Oh my God.
Abraham Lincoln.
the parachute guy.
He was Abraham Lincoln. He was
He was
Hitler.
also George Washington. There were a lot of presidential references. All the old dudes had like president names. There was Polk. There was Harrison. It was like really obscure American president names. And also, I felt
also,
like
we had Asian representation too.
by the way,
That
Did
scene
you
is
notice he
funny.
knocked down the picture of the USS Arizona into the water, and I was like, "Is that a Pearl Harbor joke in the '70s?" And sure enough, it is. Yeah, so kudos for some of the steps they made. Oh, was it the marshmallow bit that they kept bringing up? Was that what we were talking about, the favorite thing, or no? Um, a lot of this was what I was saying was just like the director just like, I got this great bit. This is gonna kill. And it's like, how about we do like this camping on the street? Oh no, we got a hotel. Okay, what's the joke? I got marshmallows. How are we gonna have a fire? And like, I just think the director slash writer was just like, oh, this joke's gonna kill, guys. Trust me, this is gonna kill. And
He
like
was my favorite character.
no one telling him like no. And not only that, the over 50% of that was like 50 years and older. There barely anyone under like 50. Like
Oh,
it's
no.
just everyone was old. Scientists, other than like the villain and the good guy and his team, everyone was like past their 50s,
That's so
which is
funny.
not a bad thing.
No, that's just really funny to me. No, like that parachute guy was my favorite. Like I think that was my favorite sequence was he was like booking it after with like the parachute dragging by.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I don't know about the Confederate flag patch. I kept pointing that out. I was like, why does he have that when he's got like so much other crap on him? But yeah, the fact that the parachute never kind of left him is
Like,
pretty funny.
It was his security blanket, I guess, because he couldn't leave without it. Because it was crazy. Because there's even a few scenes where he doesn't. It don't, like while watching, it's like, oh, that's obviously a production error, or oh, that was just like whatever. Because like when his parachute got caught by the car, I thought, oh, they made a mistake. Like we're gonna see the next cut, and it's not gonna be there. But no, he drags him, and that's the joke. Is that he dragged this motherfucker for like who knows how long that pursuit was. And then apparently the chopper in the beginning that crashed, I thought, okay, that's where the budget went. I don't get why that's funny, but okay. But that was an accident.
Oh, was it?
The helicopter.
It was they didn't mean to.
They
But
actually
wait a minute. If that was an accident, then why did they like keep acting? Like the actors just kept going. Like they never stopped.
Because they're great actors.
I was gonna say you gotta admire that commitment because apparently they almost died.
When I saw that helicopter spinning around like that, I'm like, is that real? I'm like, holy shit, that is real. I'm like, oh, and I thought the same thing. Like, there goes your budget. They that was the whole movie, and the airplane swooshes by, over their heads. I'm like, they spent all their money on that shit, and the rest of it is left to like grocery store tomatoes.
Yeah, no, they accidentally got the tail, it spun out, and then after they crushed it, they were just like, well, we can't really return it. Can we set it on fire? And the guys were like, sure. That's what happened.
Oh my gosh.
Holy shit! So they bought the whole helicopter?
So it really was a big part of their budget, probably.
But what's funny is that the helicopter's on the ground, and you see the shell of it, and it's all burnt up and crispy. But we never see the helicopter explode or anything like that. They don't even bother to get that on film or go for it. They're like, let's just burn it. Let's not even get like us burning it. Let's just show it already a burnt out shell like moments later.
There was some footage of it burning. How great is it that then they're like, what about the pilot? He's still in the helicopter? It's like, it doesn't matter. We're going. And there were so many of those lines throughout the movie. What about? And I was like, let's just keep going. So.
We're like the old couple sitting there. Well, there goes little Timmy.
Oh my god. And I'm actually surprised that a few jokes do come back. Like, when you do see the old guy again, and he's like, oh yeah, that tomato thing was so weird. are you interested in a barely used crib? It was like, oh my god.
Did that come up?
Yeah, the whole man says like, are you interested in a barely? I was like, so Timmy was a baby. He was a fucking baby. Oh my god.
I don't remember that part.
I don't remember that part.
No, it's right before Lois tries to interview fake Belushi, and then there's the Superman joke as well. It's the same scene.
The Superman.
Yeah, the guy walks by, and he looks like I mentioned that to you, and he's got the goofy glasses, and you can see his cape under his.
I missed that. I looked away.
I pointed it out.
I missed the visual joke of it, and then Mikhail pointed out, and then to like just so the movie makers were like, well, let's see if anyone missed it. They have like a fake Superman theme going on, and you hear a whoosh in the background.
Damn,
like, oh, okay, so
maybe I walked to the kitchen and got a snack or something.
Maybe you're sniffing tomatoes or something, you know.
Is that when they're there by the lawn?
Yes.
No, that was the same.
Yeah. I definitely caught that joke. I'm like, oh, they just flew.
Yeah. Because you could see he had his cape underneath his jacket, and it was like, oh, hi, Lois. Oh, hi, Clark. And he just kept walking by, and it's like...
I remember the oh, hi, Lois. They were outside of the house or whatever with the news reporter.
Yeah. And you see a clip of him walking by, and his cape is clearly underneath his suit jacket.
See, I didn't catch
and
that.
then as soon as he walks out of frame, you just hear
whoosh.
Whoosh. And I was expecting for him to like get hit by a tomato or something. You know, like I wanted like a little like just like, yep, no more Superman. He got tomato. But
that would have been funny. That was a missed opportunity right there.
What about you, Naomi?
Sorry, let me go back into this tab. What happened? I'm drawing you guys. That's why I'm like looking at something.
It's okay.
My favorite scene, right, was when they're in this crowded ass room. I think Steve just put it up when like the professor or whatever the scientist was like getting on top of the table. That whole the voiceover, it was not matching the lips. That was hilarious to me. Another scene was when the Hail Hitler, when he was like Wiener Schnitzel. I thought that whole scene was hilarious. However, where did you guys watch this? I had the opportunity to see it twice. One on Tubi TV and the other one on IMDb. And the edits on IMDb was a little bit longer. I felt that the girl getting called out, like, you have a nice ass, that was a little bit extended than it was on Tubi TV. So I don't know, just bringing that
interesting
to the surface.
I didn't know that. Yeah, because JP and I watched it on IMDb.
So when I was watching on Tubi TV, like that whole scene was like cut shorter, and I'm like, wait, it was like not in the same order I remembered, and I'm like, maybe am I too stoned to remember how the order went yesterday? But it felt way longer watching it on IMDb TV than
we watched it on Amazon Prime, who owns IMDb. So, and all their commercial, so it was free, but with commercials, and all their commercials was for IMDb TV or Amazon products you can buy on Amazon. So.
You were getting that. I was getting Kia from Gardena.
That and Geico commercials. Those Geico, IMDb TV commercials, and product. Man, if that wasn't Flaming Hot, I would munch on that. But you got Flaming Hot, and I can't.
Crazy. Good marketing catered to us. I'm actually looking for a product.
There you go. Yeah, so Is that what you wanted to go into at some point, McKay? No, or was it JP? Someone mentioned things didn't watching it today are don't.
Yeah, it was DP.
Well, I mean, like a lot of the jokes I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Were in the conference room, that one scene, like the use of the like the Asian slurs, like the casual uses of them. I was like, what the fuck is this movie right now? And then of course, him knocking down the photo of the USS Arizona, which I was that was a loud cackle from me because I was just it was pure shock. It's like, really a Pearl Harbor show. And then rewatching it just now, the portrait is seemingly out of place. There's world maps everywhere, and they just happen to have a portrait of that one battleship. It's like,
Yeah, you
oh
needed it to serve a bit.
Yeah. But it's just jokes like that. I couldn't help but think, like, man, like it just seems so out of place, especially when the film is somewhat goofy, you know.
Yeah. No,
There
but,
were. Oh, go for my
no, you go.
No, you. Well, I was gonna say for like a '70s film, I feel like it didn't have as much offensive stuff as I was expecting it to have.
That is true.
Mel Brooks, and I feel like the airplane and
there were no penises in it.
Nope.
No, there were no penis. Yeah, I feel like the other films are from that period that are kind of irreverent comedies or satires have way more offensive material or stuff that hasn't aged well in whether it's being towards women or Asians or black people or minorities. It was very small amount is what I thought.
Yeah, considering what it could be. Yeah.
Oh my god! And also another thing that was just a gut buster. Supposedly the best ad in the world.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, it's like
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, those ads were weird at the bottom of the screen, huh?
Oh no! When the ad agents guy was like, "And let me show you this new ad," and it was just
yeah, it was like Jesus or
talking.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
But yeah, having a ticker on the bottom throughout, like that was.
Yeah, there was a ticker for like a furniture store
Yeah,
or something.
mattresses, everything must go.
And there was a call out. It was an alert. It was a call out for help because the mattress store got attacked by the tomatoes.
Yep. No, like, I think that's like the crazy thing about this film is like I feel like you could watch it so many times and you get different jokes.
For sure, because I know I didn't get that damn Superman joke. I missed it.
Yeah, definitely.
I literally said, "Hey, it's Superman," and you're like, "Yeah." So I
was like, I don't see it.
And maybe you just ignoring me throughout the movie when I make you don't listen to me, Jason.
I'm not listening to the movie when I'm in the movie. I can't even hear anything else around me.
oh gosh.
Oh man, like I'm trying to think of like what else there is to really cover here because like I think maybe a lot of it is just like how like little moments are just so fun. You know, like you can tell that the cast had way too much fun like on this project. You know?
I thought they were gonna use the miniature way more. Also, like once you throw miniature stuff in there, like the tank shooting and all that, like I was like, go full miniature. I was expecting a little bit more like King Kong style tomato, just like crushing the buildings. Because if you're showing miniature and interwoven with like live or life size, just go all out.
Right?
They did a jaw scene, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they did. Oh my god. And that scene, oh, it was incredible because I was still waiting to see, like, oh, how do these tomatoes look like in their monster form? And then you literally, and some of them look pretty like rotten in the water. It's like, they've been in there for a while, and it's just
No,
literally just
wait.
tomatoes bobbing in the water.
Bro, the tomato that got me, that I was like busted out laughing, was a tomato with the headphones.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yes, with the
god!
With the earmuffs. Yeah.
So cute.
Clearly, they got a bigger budget for the other movies, and then you see more like crazy, whacked out evil tomatoes, like with an eye patch and stuff like that. But yeah, the earmuff tomato, that was on point.
I do feel like the simplicity of it all, like it was probably good that there was no big reveal of a monstrous tomato. It's like, no, they're just fucking tomatoes, which is ridiculous. Even in the Jaws scene, there's no blood, there's no gore, you don't see them being eaten, and even the girls in the one boat, they jump in. They jump in the pool in the water. Like,
They're trying to get away. But you know what? They were making fun of birds. I gotta give it to that. And also, even Night of the Living Dead, right? Like at the beginning, when you just hear the stuff going on the radio, and it's like, ooh, that's some ominous warning for what's about to happen, right? But yeah, birds, all those horror movies, it's like, don't run that way, or like, don't go that way, and that's where everyone goes. So it just made sense when you're on a boat. It's like, I'm gonna jump in the water, and I'm sure Jaws does that as well. Heck, there was even another shark movie recently. By recently, probably 5 years ago. Was it Jessica Alba maybe in it? And they're like stranded on this island or something, and there's one killer shark that's after them, and it's like, just don't go in the water. And they still need to go into the water to get over to another place, and it's like, okay, well, you're literally gonna do what you're not supposed to do to survive. So I'm totally fine with the girls jumping in. The one that had me was the motorcycle, the motocross racing, and one of them being attacked. That and the girl then reacting to that. So.
Yeah, I thought they were going to spend more time with those people.
Right.
But they introduced them so early in the movie. It's like, oh, okay, this is your hot girl entry into the formula. And they didn't stay with it.
No, and even the cops as well, who survived a fucking copter crash, and they were going through the motocross scene too.
They were.
But then they also got ate, so it was just like one by one.
No, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, but they never left the cop car, right? It's just assumed that they got killed, right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's just amazing how much this film has really captured the imagination of what was going on at the time. The fact that they made so many more just astounds me, because I wouldn't know how to continue this. You know
what's kind of funny? You're right. There were a lot of these type of movies that came out in the 70s. One in particular comes to mind. I mean, we mentioned Airplane, and there might even been a movie called Airport, right?
Yes.
Well, they were all kind of trying to do that thing that they started with the joke minute thing. There was also this other movie called Kentucky Fried Movie. Have you guys ever heard of that?
Yeah, that was the early 90s, maybe late 80s. 70s. Was it also 70s?
I almost want to pick that movie just for comparative measures. And I already have one in mind, but the 70s, we're taking a real interesting turn with the movies that we've done so far. A couple of comedies. I know this one wasn't an intended comedy, but yeah, we're getting a touch of the zeitgeist. This is around the time when SNL first came out and Steve Martin was the biggest comic in America. The zeitgeist for this type of weird humor is tangible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, clearly it's post Vietnam, right? So that's also the other other thing of just like trying to loosen up. You know, like the whole pen bit of just the president signing paper.
Oh my god.
It's like it's a presidential pen, I guess, if he signed it.
Well, like what? This came out 78?
78.
78? Well, that was like how they actually felt about Jimmy Carter at the time. That's genuinely how they felt about him. You know, it's kind of really interesting to see how, like, those things mirror everything.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else anyone wants to discuss, or?
Oh my god, my computer got stuck.
Oh,
We hear you.
Tomato got her.
You're frozen. Blink once if the tomato's after you.
Why? My computer got stuck. This is what happens when you have Photoshop and Illustrator on.
Yeah, you're really stretching it there, Naomi.
Yeah, I am. I'm fucking it up. Don't do this. I'm sorry.
Did
You guys want to talk about, like, because we talk about scenes and jokes. You guys want to talk about the ensemble?
ooh.
Like, any
Brenda?
favorite characters, any standout performances?
Parachute guy
Perfect.
was my favorite.
we never saw what happened to Scuba Guy, right? He went into the little fountain, and then we never saw him again, right?
That's right. Oh, shit. Does he come back 10 years later for Return of the Killer
Maybe.
Tomato?
Because the one who was the Russian, I guess, who defected and was eating steroids instead of
Olympic
Wheaties.
swimmer.
Yeah. She got killed, but yeah, we never saw what happened to the diver. Like that whole scene when they're introducing the team reminds me of Top Secret, which is from the original Airplane guys. You know, because there is Airplane 2, but they weren't part of it. But yeah, so yeah, there were so many things that were thrown out that just weren't followed through, and then the weirdest things were followed through. You know.
Well, you know, as a math history, this movie's interesting because, like so many other movies of that time, they make this allegation that Russians are on steroids. And it turned out all to be true. So it was like one of those things that might have been like slightly hyperbole at the time because there was like no evidence. And, like, I think culturally everybody knew, yeah, those Russians on steroids.
So were the Americans, all the way back in the 50s or 60s. They were
But
already.
they never got brought up on it. And I know he who tells the story, his story. But if you look at all that American cinema from like the late 70s and 80s, Russians are bad guys and they on the roids.
Well, the Cold War, right? So,
but then, like the Olympics, they punished Russia for being on steroids.
Recently.
When? 90s, right?
Right. Or,
they did it anyway.
Yeah.
They had been doing it anyway. They didn't just learn it in the 90s.
Yeah.
It was our fault.
Clearly,
everybody already knew.
Yeah.
What I'm saying. Enough to parry it.
You know, I'm thinking about that Olympic swimmer. How did she not get to dodge those tomatoes? Seriously, like what the?
She was busy eating cereal. She just wasn't.
So much for steroids.
I feel like compared to the other people, she actually held up pretty well on her own because she fought not only normal sized tomatoes, but like the big ones. That was another stupid joke. It's like, it's a cherry tomato, fellas.
Did anyone else notice the U-Haul truck in multiple scenes? That I'm just like, at the end when I saw it again, I was like, that's where they keep their equipment and they're filming. And they just park it on the side and they're filming. The U-Haul truck is in the scene. Oh, well. It's, you know, they're just like, it's a U-Haul truck. No one's going to mind. But it's in like multiple scenes. It's like the what do you call it? The airport stair truck from Arrested Development that they put in all the Marvel movies that the brothers direct. I feel like that freaking U-Haul truck was in like every other scene, and it was just where they had their equipment. Just me? Probably just me. That's my favorite character, the U-Haul truck.
U-Haul. That is great. Oh my gosh.
No, this is my favorite character. It's Mr.
The chicken.
Yeah, Mr. Chicken. The attack of the killer tomato. Anyway.
I did enjoy the press secretary.
Mm-hmm.
I did enjoy his character a lot in this film. I'm not gonna lie, I was somewhat disappointed that there wasn't a real true resolution for his character. He's about to spill the beans, let us know how he managed to do it, and he parachute guy just fucking murks him. It's like,
Isn't
okay.
that also the joke? I thought there were two jokes because it was the one that he was like, "Oh, you want me to tell you?" Like that's kind of like already known back then of the trope, from the Bond movies and stuff like that of like typical bad guy about to tell you exactly what he's gonna do before he gets killed or how to solve it or how to end it. But it's like nope, and then it still happens. Also, I don't know if I could kill and took, and it was like a delivery or something, and he murks that kid to use JP's word, murk.
I thought it was crazy though, because like it's funny that they use that joke to say, oh look, he's proving to him, yeah, he can kill, but like we saw him kill like 4 other people for a joke at the harbor, but he kept missing.
Oh,
like,
and did you guys caught when he was like running away from the dude? And he went to this random house, and there's a kid there writing or something, and the kid is like not even flinching. Like, like they don't explain. Like he just comes in this house and then leaves. This kid is just right there, concentrated. He doesn't even notice him.
Oh my gosh.
He didn't even flinch. I kind of saw that too. I'm like, this dude is he's a good actor, that little boy. Most kids were like, moved with so much action on them.
He was in it. Focused.
Yep.
Was he on a computer?
No, he was on a computer.
He was,
The
I believe.
The 70s?
78. White kid.
Silicon Valley? Well, it wasn't San Diego.
I'll be right back.
Oh dear. I'm gonna hijack discussion.
I would say that my favorite, I don't have a favorite character, but my favorite sequence is probably the hotel stuff with the parachute guy sleeping on the couch with Mason Dixon. There's something funny happened in the hotel. Something funny was happening there. I remember thinking that was the best scene of the movie. I just can't remember the actual bit.
Was it the girl, the whole phone conversation where?
What's that one?
Was it the girl going into the bedroom and laying on the bed is like the really awkward, just like
That was
get
kind of
in
funny.
bed with me type of thing.
That was kind of funny. There's a couple moments in the movie that legitimately made me laugh.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's funny. It caught me off guard.
Definitely a few. Yeah, it might have been the hotel scenes that got me going. I mean, clearly the marshmallow stuff that he kept. No, I wasn't laughing that it was making me laugh. It's just the fact that they kept bringing marshmallows up. But yeah,
He really wanted to go out and.
So the word harlot. Was that what it was? The different words that the parachute guy said about the girl.
Yeah, he called her a harlot and a trollop. That was kind of funny. There's something else though. There's something that
something
was.
else.
Lady of the Night.
Yes, because like she comes sneaking in the room and she's like, "Hi," and he's like, "Ah!"
It's crazy because like, I thought they were setting it up for a possible romance between
I
her
know.
and the parachute guy.
Gosh, I
It
know.
didn't happen.
Didn't happen that way.
It's not happening.
Little did you know, it was between.
Seriously.
Yeah, that was weird. What about the scene where he's chasing them through San Diego and he's like, running over like pallets and shit,
Yeah,
and he still can't catch him?
because he's got a parachute on.
That was my favorite scene.
And that's crazy because like
Because he
those
did
things-
that.
those things are hard to like just even walk on,
I
and they have to find through fucking like stacks of those things. And the dude was still carrying his parachute. He's like, "You're gonna trip, motherfucker, and like open up your skull and end this fucking movie."
I seriously thought the dude was gonna get hit by the train.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
I think it was gonna happen.
and a train is coming, and he's gonna get hit by the train, but he didn't get.
I was thinking that was like the obvious thing, but knowing one, I was like, it's not going to happen because they don't have the budget to have him get hit by the train. Like, there's no way for them to like execute it with like no budget. And then like the other thing was, it's like it's almost too obvious. I didn't know how they were going to resolve it though. I will admit that, but I knew he was going to get hit.
I just thought it was somewhat ingenious that he decides to chase the train to hide behind it, and then like in a normal movie, it catches you by surprise. Like, oh wait, the train passed by. Oh shit, now he's gone. It's like, no, he's just chasing that train. It's not going that fast. It's a long train.
What's it become?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. It was just, I saw a little red drip.
Tomatoes.
You know something else that's kind of dope about this movie though? Like they believed in the movie enough that it had its own theme song to start off with. A lot of music in this movie, but it had its own theme song, and it's catchy. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Well, I think that's what he started with. He started
It's
with
kind
a
of
song,
amazing.
and then it was like, "What's that? Oh, just a little diddly I'm working on. I might turn it into a film." And they're like, "Yes, please."
To me, what I see, I mean, unless Airplane and other movies were first, but what I see is like this movie definitely even though it was made like kind of like someone got inspired by like they watched Birds and they probably went like, "What the fuck? This is a movie? I'm gonna make this movie." And
Yeah.
whatever. And I think this film inspired like Austin Powers and like themes in films like that are like about bits and have their own theme song and things like that.
Airplane does come after this one, but the jokes are better in Airplane. That's what I was kind of referencing. Like,
Airplane came after '78.
yeah, 80 apparently. It looks like a 70s film,
I thought it was
but
like '74.
yeah,
Well, it's satirizing disaster movies of the 70s. So
right. But bless you. Gesundheit. Salud.
Thank you.
Airplane and these other movies. What I referenced that it seemed like them were the literal jokes, right? The jokes that had to do with taking things literally. Airplane and those other movies just did it so much better. Where this one tried doing that, and it was just never quite there.
Oh well, here you go. Check this out. That movie came out in '78.
Uh-huh.
Kentucky Fried Movie came out in '77.
Okay. So that might have to be your choice, huh? But,
gosh.
but yeah.
Well,
So.
I mean, I think a part of that is because Airplane, they were actually polished. Like this is clearly a bunch of guys who's just like, "Hey, wouldn't it be funny?" And someone being like, "Yeah, I got 10,000. Let's do it."
Yeah.
And they did. It has that like kind of quality, like almost like The Room, where you can tell it's just like a bunch of people who think they know how to make a movie, so they made a movie.
Did you see the budget for the movie?
No, I didn't actually.
It's listed at $100,000.
Oh wow.
Well,
That's definitely the helicopter. If they bought
Right.
it. Right? Like,
That's
the
more than
budget
half
right
of
there.
that.
Yeah.
$100,000 worth of tomatoes.
Right.
They
Jesus.
rented. I just looked. They rented the entire San Diego stadium for a day for $200.
What?
Wow.
I'm sure back then that meant something.
Wow.
Holy shit.
$200.
That's crazy.
We could do that.
Even inflation adjusted, that's ridiculous.
Right?
Like inflation adjusted, that's got to be like what, $2,500 maybe?
Maybe. That sounds about right. That's crazy.
So apparently, yeah, I'm reading this article, I guess, with the director or whatever. So, filming all in San Diego County, and they were a film. The fact that San Diego was really not all that big back then, like they just got away with doing a bunch of shit in San Diego because it was just like it's like we're just happy you're filming a movie in our city.
I feel like San Diego just like that right now.
Hey guys, Naomi's laptop I think gave up, but she sent me this.
Excellent. Excellent.
Top 10. 5 stars. Would recommend.
Thanks,
All right.
Naomi.
One trip to Vegas.
Well,
Thanks, Naomi.
I think it's time to go into final thoughts because my nose is starting to melt.
Okay, that's a good reason.
So soon she'll look like a tomato.
Probably, if I don't already.
Tomato. She's one. What's the 1930s? I've been trying to add some 1930s vernacular to my vernacular.
Mhm.
Some 1930s vernacular to my vernacular. And one of them is she's a ripe tomato, and I like it.
Gotcha.
Oh my god.
Ripe tomato. I don't know what it
Alright.
means. She's ready though. Tomato.
Yeah. I think
Okay.
this would be like a really fun film if you were like playing the ant and you're like trying to be the cool ant. You know, like I would suggest this to every 10-year-old on the planet.
Oh my god.
I think that would blow some little kid minds.
Yeah, I dig that. I can see you totally recommending this to your nieces and nephews. This is totally your vibe for that.
Yeah, no, like, cause like it'd be like one of those things where you're like, you want to see like a really cool horror film?
Yeah,
And you come
right.
in because you'd be like, no, watch it, mom.
Yeah.
See, now that you said that, like I'm now getting like UHF vibes, like Weird Al's
Yes.
UHF.
Yep.
But I feel like UHF is actually a better movie than this one. Like yeah, like it's poorly acted. It's a joke a minute, and oh my god, it's crazy because like yeah, there's still some stuff where it's like I was to be kind of on the cautious side just because the slurs and the not so great
That's true.
subtle some sexual tensions in the film, which is fine, but well, no, it's not. Shut the fuck! I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah, no, like very much. This is very much a junior high movie in my opinion. So yeah, I would definitely recommend to like. I get like definitely like if you enjoy stupid junior high movie with a little bit of like adult stuff in it, then sure, like this is definitely yours. And like any other comedy fan, I mean, this one definitely has more jokes and more punchlines than The Life of Brian. I feel like it's an easier watch as well, just because it's so fucking hokey. So do I recommend the movie? I oddly do. Because it's definitely worth the experience, but I don't know if it's worth a rewatch. So That's how.
Hey, now I
I'm
know I'm
end
gonna do
that.
it for Halloween.
Oh god.
I'll go ahead. Final thoughts. I think it's a fun movie. This is a definitely fun movie. I wouldn't recommend this movie to someone that likes actual cinema and film, but I would definitely recommend it to my stoner friends. Be like, yo, you gotta get really stoned and watch this freaking film. They'll love it. Yeah, it's a great ride. Like they were saying, like there's jokes that you kind of miss. Same with like Airplane and stuff. That is like that quick pace, Mitch Hedberg kind of one liner sometimes jokes. So you gotta like pay real attention to even catch the Superman joke that Jason didn't catch. But it was a great movie, great film. Definitely recommend it to my fun friends, not my cinema enthusiast friends. But yeah, that's my final thought.
Well, I would definitely recommend this to my fun friends too, or anybody who wants a weird take or has to see some weird cult classic or something like that. Like, can't recommend it to everyone because you lose a lot of friends if you did. But I think Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is one of those movies that kind of just stays with you, man. It's a cool cultural reference, which is rare, I think. I mean, there's very few movies that kind of fit into this category. The Blob might be one of them. Toxic Avenger might be another. There's just it's a small little space of cult kind of horror, sort of low budget B movie. It might be king of the B movies even, culturally.
You know, it's interesting. Sorry, I just had a thought that occurred to me. Like, this is kind of like the birth of internet humor, in a way.
Yeah. When we started off of initial impressions, I said it kind of had this Adult Swim vibe. Like it's almost like this movie was produced by Tim and Eric in the '70s. It's its own thing. It's the people who made it. They were clearly all on the same page for what they were trying to do. And yeah, I'm sure they had a super duper blast making their movie. The janitor is the guy who directed it, apparently.
He played a couple roles in it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he played Charlie and the janitor. He's also the guy that wrote the songs.
So I mean, and more kudos to the producers and people who believed in it, because who would have thought that this little tiny movie that they made will go on to be like really this phenomenon? It's sorta, maybe phenomena is too big a word, but it had its own cartoon series and merchandise and lunchboxes and everything, T-shirts and all that stuff. Probably action figures. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I did watch the cartoon. I don't really remember it, but I definitely watched it. I think all in all, though, with that said, to the right audience, it would absolutely recommend this thing, and I'm glad that it was picked out because I don't know if I would have ever revisited it. I'm not sure that I would have, but I'm glad that I did because I recognized as I watched it, I had never really sat down consciously and cognizantly. That's not a word, but I've never sat down consciously and watched it and fully, processed it. Because, like I said, I was a kid, probably 5 when I rented it. So, great pick, brave choice. I salute you. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Guess I'll jump there. I definitely will rewatch this if there are people around, right? Like this is definitely a film that you can enjoy watching with a group of friends. So I would definitely recommend that. Definitely with people that are into Airplane and The Naked Gun and those kind of movies. I would definitely recommend. Yeah, also one of the directors or creator of it was kind of like when they ended up seeing Airplane, I don't know how many months afterwards that it came out, they were like, oh, Airplane is our movie, but with a budget. And just kind of reading about them, they're kind of just like they were doing these different sketches, or like, for instance, the whole parachute guys. They filmed one of them was running around in a parachute. This is just like a side sketch or whatever that they had filmed at some point. and they were like struggling the whole time because it was a parachute. And they're like, "This is really funny. Let's do that for 3 or 5 minutes," and it just became, So clearly, this is, it's definitely cult status for sure. And yeah, I would recommend it to people that a vast array of different kinds of people that are either into, horror or are into satire. I love how much they went after bureaucracy, because that's also what they talked about, was just like wanting to really satirize the bureaucracy of things, which has a little bit of Doctor Strangelove in it, even maybe, if you want to, tiptoe on that line. So yeah, I'd recommend it to those kind of people, or just if you're, with your roommates and want to watch something silly. It's no House, I will say that, but there were also, what do you call the word? They wanted to do kind of one of those Japanese monster movies or horror movies, which I guess maybe makes sense why they ended up dubbing the one Japanese character in it. So yeah, definitely, I'd recommend it. It is not el most fabuloso film out there, but it's no Havoc. So. That's my bar. You know what I mean? That has now, especially for this, that has become my bar. Is it like Havoc or Killer Tomatoes? I'm gonna recommend Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. So
That's so funny.
That movie went so wrong so quick, and it never got out of it.
Yeah, me and the chicken agree. We recommend this movie to chicken lovers. All my chicken lovers, all my chicken lovers.
There you go.
Is that everybody?
Yeah, because Naomi couldn't make it.
Well,
But,
Naomi, I'm sure she had very opinionated ideas about this film. So, Steve, I want to ask you a question. What do you got for us next week?
Me? But I don't got nothing for you next week because it's not my turn. It's actually Dino's turn.
Oh, what? Attack of the Killer Tomatoes Part 2! No, I'm kidding.
Because that would have been 1988 also.
Yeah, 10 fucking years. They waited 10 years to make a second one.
No,
And then they made up more.
My pick is Network, the movie Network. There you go. And actually, I had already picked it before Ned Beatty passed away. Rest in peace. So, but yeah, Ned Beatty is one of the actors in it. Just passed away. But yeah, it's a movie I haven't seen, but it keeps just rolling around in my life. And yeah, I figured it's time. It is time to watch it.
All right.
There you go. So for El Dondino, Jason Eccles, Michaela and JP, Naomi that's not here, and me, Steve Does TV, we'll catch you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Look at me dancing to no music.
Catch up.
Hey, I'm Jason Eccles, and thank you for watching the Dimelo Network. There's some videos here. Watch one of them, and then you can subscribe to the network, and you can see more good stuff.